Hey guys, the word palace comes from Latin Palātium, means the residence of the emperor. It means also the government. It's where affairs of state are conducted. In this video, we're going to spotlight two of the marvelous palaces in the world, the Turkish Palace Topkapi and the French Palace Versailles. So let's dive in. The Topkapi Palace, or in Ottoman Turkish Topkapi Sarayı, is the largest and oldest palace in the world to survive to modern times. It served as the main residence and administrative headquarters of the Ottoman Sultans. Its location is better than the location of the Versailles. It's located at the highest point of the promontory where the Bosphorus Strait meets the Marmara Sea. The French palace, located just 20 kilometers southwest of the center of Paris. It's one of the most opulent royal residences in Europe. The Topkapi was the Ottoman center of dominance for approximately 400 years of reign, longer than Palace of Versailles that was the center of political power in France for little more than a century. Both palaces were added to the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and both of them are two of the most popular tourist attraction sites in the world. Nearly 5 million people visit the French chateau, and about 8 million visitors walk in the gardens every year. In Istanbul, more than 4 million tourists visit Topkapi Palace yearly. During the 400 years of reign of Topkapi, each sultan added different sections to the palace, depending on his taste or on the needs of the time. The estimate size of the complex is around 700,000 square meters. It is a maze of buildings and gardens surrounded by a massive wall and protected by different gates. So the palace is an extensive complex rather than a single monolithic structure. An assortment of low buildings constructed around courtyards, interconnected with galleries and passages. Seen from above, the palace grounds are divided into 4 main courtyards and the harem. Starting with the first courtyard, it functioned as an outer precinct to park and is the largest of all the courtyards of the palace. The second courtyard is surrounded by the former palace hospital, the Imperial Council and others buildings. To the south located the largest kitchens in the Ottoman Empire, with more than 800 workers. During Ottoman times this courtyard would have been full of peacocks and gazelles. The third courtyard starts with the famous Gate of Felicity and the Divan Square that were used only for special ceremonies. The third courtyard comprises the private and residential areas of the palace. The fourth courtyard, also known as the Imperial Sofa, was a private sanctuary of the Sultan and his family, and consists of a number of pavilions, kiosks and gardens. Last section is the Imperial Harem, the most private section in the palace. It contained more than 400 rooms. It was home to the Sultan's mother, the Valide Sultan, the wives of the Sultan, and the rest of his family. In this section also stands the Sultan's throne. On the other hand, the Versailles Palace has a U-shaped layout known as the New Palace, with 2 enormous asymmetrical wings. The new palace contained 2 symmetrical sets of apartments, one for the king and the other for the queen. Overlooking the garden, it contains also the Hall of Mirrors. It is one of the most famous rooms is the Hall of Mirrors. It has 17 huge mirrored arches opposite 17 windows. Each one of the arch contains 21 mirrors, which makes it a massive 357 in all. The Gallery of Great Battles is the largest room in the palace. It covers almost the entire first floor of the south wing. The Dufour Pavilion and the Gabriel Pavilion to the north has the Royal Chapel, which was the last major building project of Louis XIV, represents one of the finest examples of French Baroque architecture, and the Royal Opera that has an excellent acoustics due to its wooden interior. It can accommodate more than 700 people at a time. The gardens of Versailles are some of the largest in the world and the most magnificent in Europe. It includes 372 statues, 55 water features, 600 fountains, and over 20 miles of canals. Each year, 500,000 flowers and trees are planted. The gardens of Topkapi surround the whole complex. It's a large imperial flower park with various related buildings such as small summer palaces, kiosks and other structures for royal pleasures. Formerly existed at the shore in an area known as the 5th courtyard. Unfortunately, the Topkapi garden has lost its initial design. Most of trees have fallen victim to a fungus that has completely hollowed out the trunks, and most of its buildings have disappeared. The action and drama never stopped inside the Topkapi walls. It hosted 22 different sultans and the families. It was home for many sultans that changed the world map, naming Mehmed the Conqueror and Suleiman the Magnificent, in addition to Hürrem Sultan, Kasem Sultan, and many other powerful women who put their influence to change the destiny of the empire. The fairy tale Sarayı was unique amongst not only European travelers but also Islamic or Oriental palaces. Myriad mysteries of sultans and harems still haunting about it, with a codified daily life ensured imperial seclusion from the rest of world. Even though the palace could host more than 4,000 people, the sultan and his family could enjoy a maximum of privacy and discretion, making use of grilled windows and building secret passageways. The extravagant Versailles Palace is associated with its most famous residents, King Louis XIV and Marie Antoinette. With its 700 rooms, more than 2,000 windows, 1,250 fireplaces, the palace could host more than 4,000 people. It was a one massive construction. The kitchens were located quite a distance from the king's dining room. As a result, his meals were often served cold. The Versailles contained more than 5,000 pieces of furniture and 6,000 paintings. Experts believe the Palace of Versailles cost between $200 and $300 billion to build in contemporary money, and this is tremendous. To have an idea, the Buckingham Palace and the White House together as normal properties worth less than $5 billion. Greetings.